Hello guys. So I took the Volvo to a car show, as you can see here and here, and everything worked really well. So today I thought I would take the gear set apart and see if anything happened to it. Other than that, I did get a small coolant leak, as you can see here. I think it's one of my welds that maybe formed a little crack. I have about, I think, 3/4 left on the brand new tires, and I used up 2 more sets. The hydraulic handbrake worked brilliantly, but the G80 governor locker only works at low speed, so when I tried to increase speed and do some skids, it was difficult. So I'm going to try locking that so that it always engages. I've heard they have a habit of blowing up, and in that case I think I will go with the Torsen style diff. So what I need to do today is remove the drive shaft, the shifter, the gearbox, then the adapter plate from the gear set, and that will allow me to check everything inside. I will start with the shifter. We'll tighten that. That's that end. Next we can release it from the gearbox. Now we can get to the drive shaft. Sorry, no clicks. Who built the car so heavy? Now I have 2 options. I can remove this, because this little extra space allows me to remove the gearbox, or I can remove the drive shaft from the rear axle. But it's easier to do this one. So I'm gonna get it into first. No clicks here. Damn, that's really on there. Next is the bell housing bolts. Oh, yes! So, now we should be able to pull it out. So this is a Sachs 765 pressure plate from a BMW M5 E34. This is supposed to handle up to 1000 Newton meters. And since I have about 700-800 Newton meters after the gear set, it should be fine. I broke one of these bolts, so one of them is a hex head. Nope. And the rest are insects. Pilot bearing usually falls out when you pull the gearbox. Well, not usually, but on my car it does. Because I made this hole a little bit too big, maybe 1/100th of a millimeter. Since I have 3:1 ratio here, I get 3 times the torque on the crank, so it is enough to spin the engine. Now, before we go trying to open this, we need to drain the oil. A little 3D printed plug here. Okay, doesn't look too bad. Good enough. Next we have 6 M12s for the adapter plates. Now we need to release the adapter plate from the engine's frame as well. That stops it from spinning. So this frame has the engine mounts onto the main frame. And then you have the engine mounts, and then this tube goes across and holds these that stop the adapter plate and gearbox from spinning. Under operation you get around 700 Newton meters that want to rotate the whole assembly. So now we need to remove these 4 that I have installed with Nord-Lock washers, because they always came loose. Very strong vibrations, but with these washers they haven't moved at all. And these are only touching these to stop the assembly from sliding towards the engine, because it did that in the beginning. And then you get contact between the sun gear and the locking nut, I guess, that holds the inner piece of this onto the engine's shaft, and it made a mess. So the way these work is you have these little teeth there that grip the surface. And then on the other side you have a kind of slope. And when these go together like that, one of them grips the surface of the material and the other grips the head of the screw. And then these little slopes, when you try to rotate them against each other, they expand, and they expand faster than the pitch of the screw. So you need to stretch the bolt to get the first few degrees. So they are very effective. And now that I have mounted them once, these slopes are pretty torn up. It would probably be possible to use them again, but I think I'll put new ones. I think I have more. Alright, I used Loctite on it. That's probably why. Let's give it a whack. Yep, that looks good. Then I can do this and get these holes in the top. Now with those holes I can use this little tool that goes What this does is that it basically saves the position, because when you install this you need to hit the center perfectly with the sun gear, otherwise you won't get it on. And so I can put this on the edge here first and just slide it back, and it will be at the correct height. Then I only need to clock the sun gear right to get it in. Yep, it's heavy. Yep. So here you can see the sun gear that drives the flywheel. Looks like I'm missing 2 pop rivets. It looks a bit off. The bearing is offset somehow. That's weird. I think this would be the heads of those 2 pop rivets. So by some miracle they have not gone back into the gear mesh. Looks like this gear has been pushing out for some reason. The bearing is offset on it and the ring has been rubbing against the inside of the housing. Don't know why it would be doing that. Still looks okay. Okay. Looks like the bearing has just moved a little bit. It's not actually stuck. But I can't move it. So I'll have to press that back in place. Everything else seems to be okay. That's pretty awesome, considering what I did to it. I should probably replace those with steel rivets. Then again, if a steel rivet comes loose, it will destroy everything. When I disassemble this, I always put it back in the same order, so that they have been worn in at the same place. So on the ring we have two little mocks here, and behind this one, I believe, yep, we have a tiny one there and a tiny one there. So this planet gear goes here. And this one will need to be fixed first. Sometimes they will follow or stick to the drill. That's the best case. I don't have any countersunk steel rivets, but I do have regular steel rivets, and I think that this will be flush enough. And since this is the only problem with the gear set right now, I think I will put the steel rivets in. They shouldn't come loose. The problem with the aluminum rivets was that the head sheared off, and these should be a lot stronger. I managed to leave the mount for the camera at home, so the camera angles might not be ideal today. Some Loctite. So it's not actually a thread locker, and it's not actually Loctite, it's Vedic. But it works as a flange seal, which is what I'm using it for here. Clean these off a bit. Loctite. Don't want this coming loose. That happened a few times. Everything starts vibrating a lot. Now we will torque these to 80 Newton meters. And these to 50 Newton meters. I put some new oil in the gear set, so I thought I could show you the starting procedure. Got a main switch, and then I've got a primer pump that primes the engine oil. The gauge outside the windshield there is the oil pressure, so we should see that go up a little bit soon. Yeah, a little bit there. Should get at least 2 bar. Yeah, looks good. Then we have the starting tube back here with carbon dioxide. Runs really uneven without the flywheel actually. Haven't noticed that before. We are going to torque these to 110 Newton meters. Clutch. And here you need to line up the clutch disc perfectly centered, otherwise you can't get the gearbox on. .24 Newton meters. Ergonomics may just look away. Here we go. 80 Newton meters. Nu är den hel. Men frågan är, kan den burna?